Welcome to George Coll Fine Art. Here, the viewer is encouraged to get outside and paint from life. George's job is to provide the tools to solve the many technical challenges faced in rendering landscape paintings. View the library of landscape paintings offered and become a subscriber. You can also purchase tutorial videos, plus original tutorial and studio paintings. Thank you. And if you like what you see, click the subscribe button and join in on the fun.
Hey, here we are at part 2. This is Balance Day. And I started doing some changes from what the reference has by putting in some warm light behind the great big tree. And I'm going to develop that and see how it works. So today we worked on how does this value work, and does it balance out what's next to it, and does it fit into the painting. So many painters have these like bright colors just banging out at you, and they're just not balanced. And if you really look at nature, they're really, in most cases except for a sunset, is very balanced. And that's what I tried to achieve in part 2. All right. Get outside and paint. Paint with your friends. Get critiques, and don't be intimidated by a white canvas. All right, let's get started. Good morning again. Here is part 2 of warm light outlet. So here we go. I think we've got a good foundation, but I've got to start getting some punch in this thing. I mean, basically what I want to do in this stage of the painting, part 2, is to balance the values. Make things that I want to go bright, bright. The things I want to go dull, dull. And make sure that, this value color is working with this lighter color, and one is not outpowering the other. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and make some mixtures. I'm going to get some gold out here, which is ochre gold. We want to start talking about some warm somewhere. Let me get my monitor working here, and I'll be right with you. And so what I'm going to be doing is thinking about where my warm should be, because with all this kind of dull color in there, and this spotty sky, that maybe some sun is coming through. And so with that, that's what I want to be doing with today. I'm using a number 4 flat. And I know that right in here, there is a nice warm rock. So I want to deal with him. And I'll have some sky holes in the tree here. And then I think what you see under there is a slope. And I think I might put either still snow, or let me see what I can do with snow. So I might put a snow field right in here. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to make it into green. And I might as well put some blue in there, so I've got some sevres off to the side, my sky color. And I'll put some right up in here. Now I also need to get some trees lit up a little bit. So I am going to use some yellow green. So let me get some cad yellow. What do we got here? Transparent yellow medium. It's nice, dull yellow color. I think that was a gambling color that I'm using. So I'm going to get some yellow and some olive and see how that works for my, and then some cad yellow medium. Still need to get back to some yellow or some green. And I may have dulled it down too much. That permanent green is so strong. Let's go back into yellow and pick up some of this warmer color here from the rock. And I'm going to put some, I don't have enough yellow in this thing. I'm going to have to get a cad yellow light. And here we go. Use a lemon or a cad yellow light. That might do the trick. And I'm going to start using some of this yellow color right in here. And in here. And maybe even in here. I'm going to use a different lighter color up in the top of this tree to say, hey, there's light up in here, and light that up. Okay, let me organize my palette just a little bit here. Move these over there. Just moving my colors around. And I want to work on my rocks that I have here. And bring them up to speed. So I'm going to use some gray. And get some of that in our rocks here. Let me do one more thing. And put a few gray rocks in here. And in here. And I think we need some here. And I'm going to even go lighter with that gray on top. Right in here. And I'm going to use just a little bit of this gray up here in rockland here. Need to get some darks in there too, but I don't have anything mixed up on my palette right now to get that. But see, I'm just dulling that down just a little bit. And now, let's work on greens a little bit. I try to use my paper towels in such a way that I can utilize the most of it without wasting too much and getting too much paint on my glove. So I usually start out with some sort of a fold like this. I want to work on a green that I like. Just don't have it yet. So I'm going to use some dark Viridian. I'm going to throw in some yellow medium. And I'm going to lighten it up with just a little bit of permanent green. And darken up one side of it a little bit. And add a little bit of blue to the green to darken it up, enrich it. Okay, now I'm going to go into this kind of the lighter shade of what I just mixed up and put that in here. This is a little island. And now I'm going to go into the darker side of this and put that in. Add a little bit more blue to this green. That was ultra blue. And I see some really dark banks to the grass on this shoreline here, so I'm going to make some of this darker green in here. And also right up in here. I really need to darken up this. Oh, that was too much. Let me come back and flatten it with a little bit of olive. And I need some really dark green in here. Dark. And here. Whew. I need some dark here. And here. And I need to work this up with that lighter green. A little bit more yellow in here. And just a touch of lighter gray. I added that touch of gray to just try to soften it up just a little bit. And my phone was talking or vibrating to me. I don't know if you heard it or not. It says, time for video class. That's you. Let's go back to the darker green. I think there's a bank over here too. I need to bring up some greens on this side. Of this gray area. Basically, I think it's a bunch of roots. And then some real good darks. I just added some brown to this blue here, right in here. And then here. I think we need more of a bank here. And I'm going to just darken this just a little bit more, because I see it in the reference and I think it's going to help us. And then again, out into here. All right, let's get back and take a look at this. We have 15 minutes plus left. And I need a darker dark in here and here. Kind of a little bit darker on this side. So I just added some brushes of blue in there. Also some shades of green. Maybe that's a reflection or something, but there's also some green in here. Now, I want to experiment with some lighter lights in this bank of green back here. So, we're going to get some royal blue and some cad yellow medium and some of that yellow mixture we had. And let's throw a little bit of permanent green in here. And I think that's coming out pretty good. You say, well, that's kind of a yellow-green, but you know, we're going to be working on this kind of other green right here. So some of that's going to be coming through. And if it's too green, I'll work over the top of it. And I'm going to use some of that in here. And over in here. I think that's working over on the lower right bank. Working pretty good. Got these darks and these dark greens. I think I had some blue and some brown together. And I want to get some more darks in this area here. You hear a siren in the background. I live close to Highway 34, which is the main road up to Estes Park. And there's always somebody driving off the road because they're looking at the beautiful canyon and not looking at the road. I'm going to see what happens if I make a grassy bank instead of snow here. Let me see what that does. And a darker green down below it. I think I like that better. me see how that's working. Very nicely, thank you. To have some darks on top of rock. And that is working so far. Okay. I'm going to just work in these bright greens now between them. And see how that goes. These trunks are kind of warmish white. And I'm mixing up some Portland gray warm. And I think what I need to do is do some of these strokes right here. And I think I need some in here. And I need some more darker stuff, maybe in here. And now I'm going to put some lighter lights, grays in here. And I'm inspired to do that by the reference. I think I need to do something with this dark I have right here. So I'm going to make kind of a bluey green tree thing with a little olive in it, and do that and do that to, it's like some of that's going on in the reference. Since I have a little bit of dark right here, I want to try to get a dark thing going on. I think there are rocks and I need some darks underneath the rocks. Sorry for getting in front of the camera. And I need more dark in the water and more darks all over. So I'm going to bring this down to this area right in here. Wow, that's dramatic. And I'll have some of that coming off from the left bank too. Really, really dark stuff. I think I need to bring some lights into the top of the rock. Right up in here. It has a knob on it. Boom, boom, boom. Miss Studio Cat has entered the studio. Yes, good morning. Glad you're here. And a little bit of gray on this side. But I think we really need some, just a really light gray in the water. All right, better see what I'm doing with time here. And there's a nice dark coming off, reflection coming off of Mr. Rock right here. Like that. And I might have run another one right off the end of them. All right, with the amount of time we have, I want to get up into the sky here a little bit, because you can play with that a lot. And so I'm going to get you started on it, and so you can work on it. So I put out a pretty good hunk of white here. And I'm just going to add just a touch of Sevres, very little Sevres, and a touch of gray. So it still looks white, but it has a little bit of body to it. And I'm even going to change my rag and really clean out my brush thoroughly and get it worked up on both sides and work in some of my clouds. Oh, I had some contamination in that brush, didn't I? Yep, it's gone. Thought I cleaned that brush. Let me do it one more time. Good. And now that I've put this in, I see that I need to work on sky holes. And there's a mountain back here too I want to do something with. And I think for now I'm just going to make him blue. Say, I want you to go back. So he's going to be back in here. And here. Okay. Getting down to 3 minutes, so I want a better gray in my clouds. So I'm going to go to my light gray, and I always like to make a alizarin and viridian gray. Makes a nice gray, or viridian. And you see, you come up with a nice combination of grays there. I'm going to put a little light gray in it. And I'm going to take a look now of the value of it. So a little darker, just a touch of blue. And I need a lot of dark right up in the upper left. And this is a big dark right here. It's right up to the top here. I think I'm getting my values right. But now I need to go lighter, and I'm just mixing a little bit of that white we made up for the clouds, and I'm going to start softening some of the sides of this. Right in here, as you can see me do. I think I need darker stuff right in here. and softer stuff below it. And here. And here. Anyway, as I said, you can play around with this a lot. And I'll probably do some of that off camera just because it's kind of fun. And just remember, you know, sometimes you can overdo it. But that's what we're going to do here in part 2. And that's as far as we could probably get here today because I've only got 37 seconds left and I'm going to stop that timer and say thanks so much for coming by. And we'll see you next in part 3. All right? We'll finish this thing. Bye-bye.